Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about hiring practices. We'll read an article, have some discussion, and I'd like to welcome Raffaele to class.
Hi,
Hi! Is this the first time I've had you in class?
absolutely. That's the very first time for me in Verbling, so I'm very glad to hear with you.
I'm really glad you're here too. Where are you from?
I'm from Italy, but actually I'm living in Belgium since the last 2 years. So
Wow, cool. How do you like Belgium?
I like it very much. I'm living in the Dutch speaking part, so it's a bit hard because I'm struggling with Dutch. But it's a very good experience. It's very international.
It sounds exciting, although Dutch does seem like it would be very difficult to learn.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Awesome. So, what are you doing learning English? Is it for work, for a hobby, or just to communicate better in Belgium?
A bit both of them. I'm working actually in English a little bit, but I'm work most of the time in French, and
Wow.
so I would like to improve my pronunciation and my vocabulary because it's always useful. And here I'm using it more than I was expected, more than I expected when I came. So yeah, I really like to improve it.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm happy too to be here with you.
Great. Elena, welcome to class.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Elena?
Oh, fine, fine.
Excellent. What did you do this weekend?
Well, there was the local festival in my town, so well, we had a lot of party and concerts, and we I went out with friends for dinner and so on. So it was a nice weekend.
How fun. What was the celebration or festival about?
Well, here in Spain, there usually are religious celebration, but just for the name, because in the practice the religion has very little space in in the party. So our I don't know the name. Our saint, our Virgin here in my town is the Vineyard Virgin. Because I live in an area that is very important for its wine. So
Wow, nice. Sounds like a really fun weekend.
yes, it was okay.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're recovering from all your party time with a little bit of English.
Yes, I hope so.
All right, and Shadow, welcome to class.
Oh, thank you, teacher.
How are you? What did you do this weekend?
I'm fine. This weekend out, I'm just studying. There's nothing important.
Why were you studying? Do you have a test coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, it was an English test uh, about models, and it was confusing, really.
Wow, that is confusing for sure. Well, so you're continuing your studying marathon with English, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Today we're having a little bit of conversation and reading and listening. We're combining everything. And I have an article for you guys that I put in the chat box. So, first off, we're going to listen to this article. Then we're going to talk a little bit about it and eventually read about it. Before we listen, I'm going to show you about how this site usually works, and we'll start the conversation off a little bit. So, if you look at my screen, you'll see we have the title of the article, How Banning One Question Could Help Ex-Offenders Land a Job. Then we have the audio down here. And audio is a transcript. So after class, or if you need it during class, you can click here for the transcript of everything being said in the report. And then, of course, there's the article, which we'll be reading in a little bit. All right. Now, before we get started there, I'm going to ask you guys, have you ever prepared for an interview, and what did you do to prepare for an interview? Let's start with Antonio. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
So, what do you do to prepare for an interview, Antonio?
Well, I think that I prepare well my CV, my resume, in order to ask properly to answer properly the questions about the resume.
Cool. So what's important in a resume?
Well, I think that the most important is to impress the employer with your
and how would you do
professional. Well, with your experience, professional experience, with your studies, with your specific courses, all of them.
All right. Very good idea. Thanks, Antonio.
Thank you.
Elena, what do you do to prepare for an interview?
Nothing, because I have never do an interview. I just one time, long time ago, and it was a crazy thing. I was about 20, and the job was awful for me, and everyone could see it. I was studying, so it was just a crazy thing. After that, I prepared a public exam, and I passed it a long time ago. So I had never have an interview. That's
awesome.
A great thing,
lucky
I suppose.
Lady. So what do you think would be stressful about an interview then?
I suppose you have to show your skills, both in your resume. How is the word?
Resume.
Resume, and in the way you present yourself and you show yourself. I suppose that's the important thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks, Elena. Raffaele, can you tell us what you would do to prepare for an interview?
I'm always very worried about the typical question like which are your best skills, which are your best, I don't know how to say, the three qualities about you, the three weak point, and that's always scares me because I never know what I should supposed to answer, and so I prepare myself about those things because I find more easy to speak about my professional experience and about my experience in the past and my different works. So that's the most scary part of it.
Definitely. I hate when they ask questions that, like, you're not sure how you should answer. They're like, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? And I'm like, tiger. No. Eagle. No. Dragon.
Yeah, indeed.
Stressful. Thanks, Raffaele. Raylan, welcome to class.
Hello, teacher. Hello,
I think
everybody.
this is my first time with you, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's nice to meet you. Where are you from? Am I saying your name right? Raylan?
Yeah, that's
Raylan?
Raylan. I mean,
Raylan.
that's not my real name anyway, but I live in Iran, whatever. Yeah,
Cool. Well, it's nice to meet you. And
yeah.
when you prepare for an interview, what do you consider and think about and do?
Well, first of all, I consider wearing something suitable for that interview. I mean, that gives this kind of impression if you wear some kind of formal suit or something. And maybe I go over some kind of normal question that in any kind of interview you're gonna hear, and I practice them, you know. And I try to gather a little bit of self-confidence, all those stuff.
That's
Yep,
important too.
yeah,
Very cool. Thanks, Raylan.
yeah, too.
And next up, Shadu. What do you do to prepare for an interview?
Oh, I didn't go to interview really before, so I don't know really what to do.
What do you imagine is stressful about an interview then?
Maybe because I know that if I go there, just they judging me about how I act and behavior. It's not about information or these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to deal with that, and sure, it will be. I will be nervous the first time. So.
Yeah, nerves is really a problem during interviews.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks for your thoughts, Shadow.
Thank you.
And last up is Adil. Welcome to class. And tell us, what do you do to prepare for an interview?
Um, I try to sleep earlier because I usually, like yesterday, before yesterday, I had an interview. I didn't went for my interview because, I'm so lazy. I try to sleep earlier. That's what I do. Yeah.
Being well rested surely is a good thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to get into the article we're reading a little bit about today and talk about some hiring practices. I sent the article in the chat boxes, and I'm going to send it once more in the Google chat. It's called How Banning One Question Could Help Ex-Offenders Land a Job. We're going to listen to it first. So each of you will have to load this article, click on this blue box, and don't forget to mute your microphone. That way we don't have lots of the audio happening all at once. Mute your microphone, play this. It's about a little more than 4 minutes. And if you're nervous about it, you're welcome to open the transcript so you can read along as you're listening to the story. Does anyone have questions before we begin the listening part? All right. Then everyone go ahead and mute yourself, click it, and listen to the 4.5 minutes of report we have here. Okay, I hope you all got to listen to that story, or at least read the transcript if you were having trouble with the audio. Now let's talk a little bit about what you guys heard. Adil, can you tell me what made this listening easy or difficult for you?
You mean I understood or not?
What percentage of the words did you understand from the report?
I think not even a single line, I guess. I'm trying to understanding because they speak very fast.
They do. That's one thing that makes it very difficult, is how fast they speak. Is there anything else that makes it difficult to understand what they're saying?
Because it's a kind of news, and in news they use a kind of hard vocabulary, and sometimes it's a kind of out of mind for me.
Mm-hmm. Totally true. So this is definitely a difficult listening exercise. And the first time we listen through, it can be really difficult to understand everything that's going on. So we're going to talk a little more about it now to make sure everyone is on the same page. Antonio, how much did you understand from this listening exercise?
Your voice is breaking, teacher. I don't know. I have a network problem, or you have network problem.
Antonio, can you hear me okay?
Same. I don't know. Other people can hear you, or I have network problem.
Hold on one second, Adil. Let's try Michael. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Michaela?
Good to have you with us, Michael. I'm doing well. How are you?
What moment? Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too. So we just listened to an audio report from a article that I put in the chat box. Elena, can you tell me how much you understood from this exercise?
I think I have understood it quite well. I don't know, 80%.
Awesome.
I think, yeah, I think, I don't know, but I think my listening is quite better than my speaking.
Awesome. So what do you think might make this listening exercise difficult for other students?
Well, I don't know, perhaps the speed. And it depends if you are accustomed to that kind of audios. I often hear some sketch from BBC that are quite similar. So I think that helps me.
So what did you hear about then? Tell us the general topics you heard discussed.
Yeah, the general topic is the employers have or not the right to know if their possible employees have been in jail or have committed some kind of crime.
Yes, exactly. Thanks very much, Elena. And Raffaele, can you tell us more, anything about what you heard, and tell us the percentage of words you feel like you understood?
I think I understood to about the 80%. It was difficulties to me was some specific vocabulary, like that bend the box. I didn't understood actually what it was exactly, and yeah, all the specific words about the ex-con, the ex-offenders, and the specific law vocabulary. I think that was ballpark to me.
Okay, so tell us a little more about what they were talking about. Elena said they were discussing whether an employer should know about the employee's history as far as crimes go, if they committed a felony. Can you add any information to that basic topic?
Yeah, I think that the problem is for the employers to know if the future employee has criminal history, in order to be sure before to allow him to, I don't know, for example, accept a credit card payment, or even harder for the one of the man was talking about for like physical injuries done to another employers. So it could be very dangerous to hire those people. And so, in order to avoid any difficulties, the employer should know their criminal history. And that I think that is quite normal, and it's quite it should be done like that. Even if it's true that if you are in prison and you are like doing all your what you have to do in order to reintegrate in the society, you should have opportunities to get a job and to be hired. That's for sure. But it should be in a good balance.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Raffaele. And Shadow, can you tell us anything more about the audio and how much you understood?
Oh, I think Raffaele said everything. So I'm gonna add just something that I think this article is talking about ex-offenders, how they suffering after they released to find a job, and they can't start a new life because like a whole community refused to give them a chance to live a new life according to the history or the crime they did before. And even I think in the end of article it said like a hint that even the government didn't give a chance for these people. This is what I understand, that it's just giving them examples from different people, women and men, how they suffering after they released. So, just like that.
Awesome. Thank you very much for contributing to our knowledge about this audio.
Thank you.
Antonio, are you there?
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you get to listen to the audio?
I had problems with the audio because it was very low, and I couldn't understand very well. I wrote in the chat that I had problem with interruptions with my phone and my doorbell, and only read some things about the text.
Okay, so you can catch up by muting yourself and listening now, or reading the transcript if you like, or just reading along with us, because we're going to read the article in a second here.
Okay.
And Michael, did you get a chance to open the article and you know everything we're talking about today and where we are?
Yes, I don't listen, but I am reading a little the article. Well, it's a difficult question because all the criminals is not the same, because you suppose when you are a child you have problem, a little punishment, because well, this is not, I don't accord with Mark all the life, because I suppose he's a very big criminal. I suppose it's no, it's difficult because it's hard to to speak in detail where is necessary. It's it's difficult. But I partially accord, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what have to do the government in this matter. But I suppose it's all the cases is not the same. I have several. It's difficult to me. It's difficult to me speaking English. Yes.
I think I've understood you. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get to reading. We're going to read through this pretty quickly and then talk a little bit about vocabulary and then get back to our conversation about the topics here. So the first few paragraphs, I'm going to ask Shadow to read for us.
Okay. Washington, D.C. is expected to join 4 states and several cities soon in prohibiting companies from asking job applicants upfront if they have a criminal record. It's part of a growing movement called Ban the Box, a reference to that box on a job application from that asks, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Advocates for the laws say having to check the box prevents many ex-offenders from getting a fair shot at a job.
Thank you very much. So before we go on, I'd like to talk a little more about the slogan they're using, ban the box. Can anyone help give a definition for this slogan, ban the box? What does the word ban mean?
Ban means... Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I think that just means to eliminate the box, to pull it out.
Exactly. Ban is a synonym to prohibit, which we have up here. They kind of explain it when they say that several cities are prohibiting companies from asking upfront about criminal records. So prohibit and ban are synonyms. Do you guys have any other questions from these first couple paragraphs before we move on?
Yes, I'm not sure if I understand upfront.
All right, good question. Does anyone think that they could shed some light on that expression? What does it mean to be upfront with someone?
Like advance?
So when they say prohibiting companies from asking job applicants upfront, meaning that when they get applications from, say, 5 or 6 different people, if they ask this question, they might immediately eliminate some people. They might say, we don't work with people who have felonies, and so they eliminate 2 or 3 of the participants up front, meaning like the first round, right? And in this article, they're going to talk a little more about how it might be better to ask them later. So if you decide that a person is perfect for the job, only then can you look at if they have a criminal record or not. So it takes a little longer to find out if they have a criminal record. And the idea is that that will prevent them from being prejudiced against people with criminal records. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So here upfront
Yes.
means like originally or in the first round.
I suppose that was the meaning, but I was not sure.
Excellent. Any other questions from these first few paragraphs? Okay, if you guys continue to think of questions, put them in the chat box so you don't forget them later. And Raffaele, will you read these few paragraphs for us?
Charlie Phelps says it happened to her. The Washington resident was released from prison about a year ago after serving 5 years for felony assault for fighting with 2 other women. It was her second conviction for assault, but at age 51, Phelps Hell says she was determined to get her life in order and has applied for numerous jobs at local hotels, sport clubs, and hair salons. But none of them called me back, she says. That's the only thing I can think of is the box. I can think of is the box.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions from that section?
Not really. Not really.
Okay. Then the next 3 paragraphs are for Michael.
Sorry, felony, I don't know. Before.
Oh, good question. So the word felony. Can anyone help us define the word felony?
Felony, it's like when you do something wrong, when you are, it's like a crime.
Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of crime. Is it a very serious crime or not a very serious crime?
It's a serious crime, I think.
Yeah, this is a category of crimes that's more serious. We have some, another category that would just be like petty theft or little things where you might not go to jail, but felonies you almost always have large consequences like jail time or very serious fines or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Then Michael, go ahead and read these 3 paragraphs.
Phil Hell says that's ironic, because in prison she received lots of training on how to re-enter society and became a productive, law-abiding citizen. She took class on how to do her resume and apply for jobs, among other things, and now it seems like a waste. Just ban the books. Give us a chance to go in, have an interview, sell ourselves, let the person know who we are, she says, adding that employers are missing out on a lot of good workers. In Washington, D.C., an estimated 1 in 2 residents has a criminal record. Nationally, about 17 million people in the U.S. have been arrested or convicted of a crime.
Thank you very much. Questions on this section?
Teacher, I just want to ask a question. So, is this movement that called Ban the Books, is just for help these people to find a job? And
what the movement it wants is for the question to be eliminated. Basically, they want employers not really to know about a criminal record until the person is already hired. So in that case, an employer would not be able to see a criminal record until later in the process.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Just one quick question about law-abiding or abiding citizen.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going to go over that one because it's a great vocabulary word. Can anyone help us define law-abiding?
Obeyed, it means like someone who follow the rules.
Follows the rules, obeys the laws. A good citizen. Someone who does everything in the right way and doesn't make big mistakes like breaking laws. Any other questions? Then the next few paragraphs are for Elena.
Sherman Justice says he also had to struggle when he got out of prison 2 years ago after serving time for robbery and drug trafficking. It was hard for me. I didn't just get a job up top when I first got out, he says. I almost hung around the wrong people again, and I made a conscious decision, like, this is not what I want to do. Eventually, the 27-year-old landed a job with a Washington advocacy group, the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. But many ex-cons get frustrated when they can't find work and return to a life of crime.
Thanks, Elena. Any vocabulary questions on this section? How about advocacy group? What is an advocacy group?
Is it something related to advocate?
Yeah, exactly. It's related to advocate. So what would that mean? Or do you think you can think of any examples of an advocacy group? Or maybe, does anyone think they could define the word advocate?
Advocate is a person who studies laws.
Okay, kind of.
It's kind of.
Well, I think the word you're looking for is lawyer, right?
A lawyer, okay.
But it's related. They're related terms. Does anyone else want to help us out here?
It's a confusion with it. Sorry.
With Spanish?
With Spanish, yes.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's one of those false cognates where the word is almost exactly the same and the word is related, but the definition is a little different. Anyone else want to help us out with the word advocate or advocacy?
I think that is a term to express the fact that some people, a group of people, are fighting to get recognition for something, or just to promote some new way, or something that should be normal and is not.
Exactly. So this would be a group promoting a particular cause. This group promotes Black civic participation. And so they're an advocacy group. There are also many women advocacy groups and people trying to promote the rights of oppressed people, maybe. And so this word is related to lawyers because often what lawyers do is they advocate for a person who is being charged with something. So if somebody says, that guy stole my car, a lawyer might advocate for that person and say, no, it's not true. This guy did not steal the car. Or something like that. They're very related terms, but not exactly the same. Any other questions before we move on to the next section? All right. Then the next section, this one here, is for Antonio.
About 50% of returning citizens do re-enter the criminal justice system, says Ari Weisbach, Deputy Director of the DC Employment Justice Center. Anything that we can do to lower that is going to both be better for overall costs and lowering the cost of imprisoning all of these people, and of course, better for the victims of those crimes. Continue? Yes.
Yep, one more.
And he says employment has been shown to be one of the best ways to reduce recidivism.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's pronounced recidivism. Recidivism.
Recidivism.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so this is an important section here. First, let's talk about recidivism because it's an advanced vocabulary word. Does anyone think they could come up with a definition from the context of this word?
It's quite the same than in Italian, and I think that it means keep doing the same stuff. So doing another time the crime or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. This one works in your favor. This one has a cognate that does actually translate really well into some Latin-based languages. So this is like a repeat or relapse into something. And it's tough to say, but it's recidivism with an accent on the second syllable. All right. Any other vocabulary questions from this section? I'd like to talk about this first statement they make for a second. About 50% of returning citizens do re-enter the criminal justice system. Can anyone explain what that means? It's kind of difficult to piece together. They're being very indirect about how they're saying this. What does it mean?
Returning citizens mean people that had go out of jail, but the sentence says that that kind of people, well, 50% of those people re-enter the criminal justice system. It means that go again to jail or to a kind of trial, or they get in problems again.
Exactly. So returning citizens would be people who have already been to jail or committed a felony. And when it says they re-enter the justice system, it means that they commit more crimes. So 50% of those people will continue to commit crimes even after the first. All right. Just a little bit more to go. We're almost done with this, and then we can have a little conversation. But let's pause here, actually, because since we only have about 9 minutes left, I'd like to pause here for a second and hear your opinions on this topic before we continue reading. So, starting with Shadow, can you tell us what you think should be done? Do you think the box should be banned? Do you think that it's important for people to know who has committed crimes and who has not?
Yeah, I think it's important to know what the person history, if I want to hire him, in, for example, in my house or in a company, it's important to know the history. But I think the government have to deal with that because it's their responsibility by supporting the companies that will hire these people after they released, by, for example, give them support, money, and a different element that can help these companies to grow up. So I think any employer can accept that if there is advantage will come after if they hire these people. But I think it's most important thing that we know the history first, really.
All right, so don't ban the box, but we should find another way to support ex-convicts. Is that what you're saying, essentially?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Raffaele, what do you think should be done about this situation?
I think that to ban the box is actually a very good idea, because if you have gone to prison and you are you went through the whole process to rehabilitation, you should start from the beginning, as all the other people.
All right, so you're for banning the box.
Yeah, I think that could be a very good idea, in order not to let the prejudice have a disadvantage.
All right, thanks for your opinion, Daphne. Mikhail, what do you think on the matter?
Yes, in fact, I think in this moment, my country and other countries, suppose when you commit a crime or a punishment, you have in the history. Nowadays is easy to know. It's difficult because when I tell him before is. When you imagine you are aboard the company, you have to contract to anybody. You the furthest to see the history. I don't know. It's difficult, but I think the people need another opportunity. I don't know what is the way to do another opportunity.
So you think kind of like Shadow, where you think something should change, but you don't think it should be the box. You think people should know about criminal history.
Yes, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Elena, where are you here on the scale? Do you think they should ban the box, keep the box?
Yeah, I definitely think that the box must be banned, because they are not talking about that the employers couldn't know about the history, but just in the first moment. So if I want to hire someone, and just straight away I see that person has been in prison, perhaps I am not going to offer that person just an opportunity. So, well, I suppose as an employer, I suppose you have the right to know that, but why in the first moment? I think later on is better. And in the audio, talk about little businesses, but I don't think that's a big problem. I think the big problem is the people from jail in the past. They have a problem to obtain a job. So I think nobody must ask that just in the first place. I think it's unfair.
All right, so maybe keep the box, but not on the first resume or application, just later on in the process. Once
Yes.
they're given a chance to show who they really are.
Yes.
That might be a solution. And Antonio, what do you think? Ban the box? Keep the box? Who's in the right?
I don't know. I think it's a very complicated question.
True.
Because on the one hand, employer want to know everything about your curriculum and your past. And I suppose they don't want to hire a person with a criminal story. But on the other hand, I think that all the people merely or need the opportunity to redo. I don't know the word now.
Did you say review?
Review, no, remake his life, no, the other life.
I see. Yeah, to start over.
Yes, a second opportunity in your life. You need a second opportunity in your life. So a solution maybe will be that a mate has said about the government give an opportunity for these people, but perhaps this was a reason for many people to commit crimes. For example, in my country, there are a lot of people who is unemployed. This was a solution for their problems.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for your thoughts. So we don't have much time left, but I'd like to recommend that you guys finish reading this article on your own and listen one more time. Giving a second listen through always helps you understand a little better and have a better grasp on what exactly was being talked about. I think this listening exercise is difficult because there's lots of different people talking and they each have slightly different accents. So one guy I think has kind of a southern accent and another woman has an accent from the north of the US. So it changes a lot. And it's also a good idea to get experience with those different accents and maybe even be able to identify them eventually. However, since we have like a second more in this class, I want to know what your dream job would be. Just really quick, tell me what your dream job would be. If you could quit what you're doing now and become like a soccer star or whatever, tell me what your dream job would be. And let's start on the right with Shadow. What would be your dream job?
I used to be a teacher.
Was that your dream job?
Yeah, really. I like teaching, but I'm studying law, so I don't know really.
All right. So you really liked being a teacher, and it's your dream job?
Yeah, it's my dream job.
Okay. That's nice to hear that you got to do your dream job.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Shadow. Raffaele, what would be your dream job?
That would be a student if I could be paid for that, but I don't think that it exists kind of a job like that. Unfortunately.
That would be a pretty cool one. Maybe like a researcher. That you could kind of be a permanent student in that way.
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
What would you research?
Literature, I think.
Huh? Literature?
Yeah. I think.
Ooh, good choice. Very good choice. Do you think you'd study Italian literature?
No, definitely not. Comparative literature I would prefer.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Rafael.
Thank you to you.
Michael, tell us what your dream job would be.
Okay. My dream job, my political.
Wow, politician.
Yes.
Would you run for like governor or?
No, in this moment I discard this option, but I would like, because I think the people inside is not working well.
Yeah, we definitely would like to see some change in the world.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Mikhail. Elena, what's your dream job?
My actual job. I'm a teacher. I had always wanted to be a teacher, and well, that's my dream job. So I think I'm very, very lucky.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, Elena. And Antonio, tell us your dream job.
My dream job would be to work something in engineering, something related with renewable energy and efficiency energy. I like it very much, and I think the world, the globe needs a help.
That's totally true. All right. And just to finish up, I love my job of being a teacher, and it must be a great job because everyone here says, Elena and Shadow have all said that it was their dream job too. So I'm very thankful that I get to do something that's really fun and I get to interact with so many people. Thank you guys all for coming today. We went a little over time, sorry, but I hope to see you guys again soon.
Oh, thank you, teacher. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great class.
Thank you. Bye.